Guy Pearce rides with a girl with the touch of death in the supernatural western Killing Faith, which was released in the UK as Devil in the Dust. Set in 1849, Pearce plays an ether-addicted doctor who is hired to escort DeWanda Wise and her daughter, who has a mysterious affliction that anything that touches her skin immediately dies. Wise wants to bring her to preacher Bill Pullman, who she believes holds the last hope to potentially cure her, but Pearce is skeptical. Killing Faith is helmed by Ned Crowley, who also wrote the script, and it has all the ingredients for what could be an intriguing western, like a strong premise and cast, but it lacks one very important thing: a pulse. It's a shame because the cast do what they can, but they're stranded by the material. Pearce is committed as the grieving and jaded doctor who has lost his own wife and daughter and carries that guilt as well as his reputation around town for being unable to save his patients. His bad luck continues on his mission because he's the antithesis of Clint Eastwood and is a pretty ineffectual hero, getting held up, knocked out and turned into a bloody mess. But if he is faithless, then DeWanda Wise's freed slave is all about her devotion to God and wanting her daughter to be exorcised of the demon she thinks is inside of her. This is a West where death looms large because of a recent outbreak of disease, and the film tries to poke at superstition and public hysteria, partly through the dynamic between the two leads, where the rational Pearce thinks the girl is more likely to be a carrier, but he finds something to believe in. The story might sound like the premise for a horror film, but it really isn't, and while there's a few moments of grisly violence, I honestly wish that it leaned more into the genre elements or a sort of surrealism to enliven the flat execution. Too much of the film involves them journeying across the desert, bumping into other characters that drift in and out of the story, like a strange episode where Joanna Cassidy heads up a family of gold diggers who have been out in the sun too long and have gone a bit Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Aside from some dodgy CGI muzzle flashes and blood spurts, the film's competently made, but it's shot in a functional, even bland way, and the pacing is so slow, you wonder if the horses are going backwards. It doesn't help that the unnamed girl isn't really a character, she's a MacGuffin for things to happen to or for the characters to project upon, but is functionally mute and naive, which is just a huge missed opportunity. Things improve in the third act when Bill Pullman finally enters over 70 minutes in, and he's clearly enjoying getting to ham it up in a wheelchair and puncture the grim, self-serious tone, but it's far too late to save the movie. It just doesn't come to life, and the whole thing is so dry that watching it felt like sucking on a plain unsalted cracker.